right, and following up Shinebug, here is ToyWorld's TW-T06 SIDELOAD, their version of wide load, the throttle bot. And like his predecessor, you can see he is a big truck, and he is very orange. If you've watched any of my video reviews, you know how I feel about that, so thumbs up to the orange. Something I forgot to mention in Goldbug's, or in Shinebug's video, and I'll do it here now, they each come with their instruction sheet in a baggie, as well as like a hard plastic, kind of credit card type plastic, bio card in its own little individual baggie. I'll show off Shinebug's here. Shinebug here is, here's his instruction sheet they flip out. Shows his transformation to robot mode. That's very bright with all the yellow on it. And then it does show the transformation to the combiner mode limb, which is nice. In that, here's Shinebug's little bio card. Also, I want to say this came in Shinebug's box. It may have been in SIDELOAD's. I can't remember which box it came in. But there also is included a manual that shows you how to take each individual limb to form, including some nice looks at Expressway, even though he's not out yet, showing you how to form the limbs and make the combiner. So the instructions for both SIDELOAD and Shinebug do have how to make the combiner part in their individual instructions. You do get a nice little manual that takes you through the whole process of making their combiner here. Which again, we're not going to show off tonight. I'm waiting for Expressway to get here before I can do the whole big combination of all 6 of them. I'm looking forward to that, but there you go. He does come in the same type of solid box with a little blister window just for his vehicle mode. It's just got the grid pattern with some pictures and his name on it there. And he does come in the double-sized box because while Shinebug came with some of the combiner parts, he comes with the rest. And real quick, I'll show you off. Here's the kneecap pieces, which again, you'll see those knee connectors are offset, so you would need 2 of him in order to use 2 Auroras for the people who don't have grind rod who were talking about that. But there is a nice strong ratchet here. You can hear it clicking. It clicks. It's very tight, but it still moves easily. Like I don't fear any breakage, despite the very heavy. You can hear that click ratchet in the limb itself. And you can kind of see again. You saw how the feet connected. These will kind of slide in. This piece lifts up, and these come off to the side to slide onto the top of the limb. These will come in and peg down on the sides, and then this folds down and pegs and holds these 2 together. So you get, and then this will slide into the lower leg of the torso, or I guess the lower leg of the robot in the torso, forming the upper body of the upper thigh of the combiner itself. But they both work exactly like that. So yeah, looking forward to Expressway getting here. You also get the torso headpiece. The head has a swivel this way as well as a swivel this way, so you can get it. It's not quite a ball joint, but you can get a lot of good looking up and looking down poses. In the combine mode, Shinebug will attach back here, although you can swap them around and use Shinebug as the torso if you want. I've seen that used. Again, I'll figure out how I want to display it when we do the combined video when Expressway gets here. And then here's where the connection points for the arms, and you can see, again, nice, strong, sturdy ratchets there on these shoulder pieces. And he also comes with his gun. Now, unlike the smaller throttle bots, I haven't found anywhere, it doesn't even seem to be an empty space on the bottom to store his gun. But when you flip there's the handle for having a robot hold it. It flips up, there's a little peg here, and it does peg in right here on top of the vehicle mode, if you wish. And because of that hinge, you can kind of point it up or down a little bit. But it does peg in there right there on top of vehicle mode. If you don't want it facing forward, you can, of course, plug it in this way. Then it kind of looks like maybe somebody could pop out of this sunroof and shoot at pursuers, or just to store it backwards. But yeah, his gun is one of the only ones, unless Expressway doesn't also do it, although I think his probably will. He's the only one that has an external gun, which is kind of a Gatling gun. It's really kind of a cool looking rifle there, but it doesn't store under robot mode. So we'll go ahead and transform him here. Again, big orange truck, wheels roll nicely, and he's a good size. You can just look at my hands, you can see he's much larger than Shinebug. All of the vehicles here, some of them actually made it production, a couple of them didn't, but all of the throttle bots from ToyWorld's line were indeed based off of real vehicles, whether, again, some were prototypes that never got mass-produced pieces. Some of them did. I don't know the names of all of them, but I've seen him. This is actually much larger than a Humvee, so it's a fairly big vehicle in real life as well. When we transform, I will say there will be a little bit of a tricky bit getting these pieces over the back wheels to form into the back. And it's just a matter of getting everything around each other. I've practiced it several times, but even knowing how to do it, it's a little tricky. You want to make sure you don't pop anything off or pull a pin out. So bear with me when we get to that part. But for the most part, it's fairly straightforward. And you start off, you just take these winch side view mirrors and flip them in like that. The whole side and upper top of this, like these two, all this panel and this panel back here, all lifts up. And it starts off by these little side panels. You might be able to see the little tab in there, just right in there, that plugs into the side of this piece. So you want to lift those up on each side and then pull this whole assembly up. You see it starting to come up here. This whole assembly comes up like this on an arm. Just like that. Transforming the legs is not that big of a thing. You want to bend them. And the thing is, the way they fold up in here, you can see that here's the knee piece right here and the upper thigh. You actually bend them back. You can separate them as well, easier. But you don't just, because of the kneecap here, although you can flip this kneecap out, you don't pull them straight down. You want to kind of bend them back like that, and that'll pop them loose, and then you can pull the leg up the rest of the way. So again, it helps if you, like by taking it like this, bending it back like that, and then pulling it up. And that really helps clear out the, you can see how that knee piece has now come up into the, inside the leg. And then these pieces right here pull out a little bit. You want to be careful. These are on thin little ball joints here. The ball joint itself is sturdy, but sometimes as you're pulling the foot out, it will pop off right there at that ball joint. Again, you just pop it right back on. Just something to be aware of. And these flip forward onto the front of to form the toes. And then from inside here, these little black pieces come up and out again on a ball joint there and form his heels. Kind of flip them there under his foot. And again, they're on a ball joint, so you can get a good rotation bit out of them. And you can see here's the slots in his legs, where the leg pieces will eventually slide in for combined mode. I think that was the wrong side, but just to give you an idea. And that's pretty much his whole lower body done. Again, much like Shinebug, easy to do and not a whole lot to it. There is a little bit of a wiggle right here. There's a joint here that's going to be used for the torso mode up in the thigh, but it's not a big deal. So don't. If you see that, there's nothing broken. It's just where there's another joint for the torso transformation. So yeah, there's his legs. Now the upper body, here's where it gets fun. Now start off with a backpack. Take this piece, which was sitting up here flat like this. And again, you can see the hinge there. Just kind of fold this down onto the back. These pieces all collapse into the backpack. These blue tabs are what tab it into the back of his robot mode. There's a trick to doing it. What you want to do is take these blue tabs and fold them down flat like that before you fold these panels in. Go ahead and you can kind of see these pieces separate. You want to fold. Actually, I think just this panel is when you separate. You want to fold this piece, the upper black pieces in. There's a little tab there you want to get past, but fold the upper black pieces in like that. And then this piece, I believe, how does this work? I'm pretty sure this piece folds in first like this. And once you've got that piece folded down, actually, yeah, fold that down first, then flip this piece over here up. Then fold this whole panel down as one, like that. And once you've got that down, you've got just enough room to flip this tab out. So you fold them down first, fold the two larger panels in, this one with this one attached, and flip these two panels out, and then this panel just folds down over those. It may be possible to fold them one whole thing down and then the other one down. I haven't tried it yet. The instructions specifically say to do it this way. That's why I'm doing it this way. And it's worked. I've had no problems with it, so I'm just going to assume that it's right. And then these just position up like that, and there's his backpack ready to go. And bring them down like that. And here's where the tricky part gets, is getting all of this, because these are going to rotate around and fold inside the body, and it's pretty crazy. So here, we'll go ahead and lift the arms up here. How did I get these done in there? The arm should come up. These pieces, see, these pieces are separate. You can go ahead and fold this bumper down and get that out of the way. Oh yeah, here we go. And pull these out, the back panels out just a little bit. It gives you a little bit more clearance there. And these side panels are connected to the arms. So you bring them up like that. And then this whole assembly has to open up. How did I do this? Flip the wheels out first. You can see there's hinges here. There's a hinge up here and a hinge down here. You want to... Oh, that's right. You pull this out. Pull this out right here. This whole panel flips down, but in order to do that, you want to pull it out from here right at the waist first. And that will give you the leverage that pulls this hinge out, which allows you to flip it down. If you just try to flip it down, that hinge is tucked under there. You can kind of see how it tucks up under there. So if you just try to pull this down, this is going to hit the waist no matter which way this waist is twisted. So you do want to pull it out and up a little bit first, and then you can flip that down. You can see his robot mode head there. And then once that's done, you can fold out. Again, there's a hinge up here and a hinge down here. You want to fold it out the wider hinge, or at the upper hinge here first, get the arms out. And these panels should rotate around. That was on a ball joint. We'll fix that in a second. It's another one of those thin ball joints. So you rotate these around like this. It's a very neat design on this transformation. It is a little frustrating. So flip these around. Actually, maybe I'll flip those around first. And then you want to pull it out at the wider joint down here. Again, this is the window over here. Again, it kind of folds around the arms, so you want to make sure that that does pop off. It's very easy to just pop it right back on. And this is where it always gets a little tricky. You want to bring this down, lift the arms up, and this piece has to. I guess you want to bring it up like that. Move the arm out. Get this panel down here. Got to move those panels past each other. You get a little bit of wiggle room with this hinge right here, because again, this hinge, much like the others, can come out and around. But you need to get that out of the way and bring these panels in like this. And see, now you got to rotate. How did I do this earlier? Okay, well, you just stay off down there. So you got to get that out of the way, and this panel has to rotate around. Basically, as you bring this back up, this panel wants to, you need to rotate this panel back down in so it's facing inward. And moving these around each other is a bit of a pain. There we go. Yeah, see, I don't want to risk breaking anything there. This folds down like this. There we go. Oh no, because this panel has to rotate so this tab is facing inward when you flip it back up. So you've got to get this past this one. There we go, like that. So that when this panel comes up and this panel comes down, there we go. And then this panel comes out like this. Bring it around like that. So yeah, so basically when this piece folds back up, you want to make sure this is in a position where it can rotate in like that. And then this is on a dual hinge up here, so you got to lift this up and rotate it down. And that's the tricky part right there, is getting this panel around this panel, because this panel sits on the back of the shoulder here, you can see, and this panel has to rotate around to get in like that, because these are going to peg together in the back. This panel, again, it's on one of those small ball joints, like the legs down here. You rotate this around like this, so this gray piece is in the front. This panel uses that ball joint to come around and fold up onto the back of the forearm there. And then the hand just extends out. You just kind of grab it and pull it out. He does have a wrist swivel, which is nice. So now we got to get this side to match this side, which is, again, something of kind of stress that a little bit. The instructions are horrible about pointing out exactly how this works. You can see here's all the rotate 90, rotate 90, rotate 90 here on the instructions. Let's go ahead and pop these out here and see if maybe we can get a little clarity here on this. Because I think I've done it like 6 different ways now. Yeah, see, because this is how it going 90 straight up, and this has them going 90 straight down, but then I can't see on this picture where the where it's got those. Okay, well, all right, let's see if we can do this one by the instructions. So this should have come up like this. Come down, because you can see you can flip this down like this. Flip this panel down and around, it says. Bring this panel up. See, that's where I'm having issues. I can get the arm in the right place. Bring this down. And these do have a there's a little angled cut here. So these panels do lift up a little bit to give you the clearance to fold around. It's just a matter of getting it done. There's just barely enough clearance here. I'll rotate this panel around this way. Oh wait, here we go. Did I just do it? Ah, I just did it. How about that? Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, there we go. Okay. And that comes back here. This whole thing comes up. And once you get that all around, that was actually easier that time. You can see these panels come up like this, and there's a couple little tabs there that peg together on the back. So you've got this big hole in his back. For right now. That is, like I said, that is one of the most nerve-wracking and frustrating bits of this whole thing. And the instructions aren't super clear on how to make that happen. It can happen. It can happen without damage. It's just a matter of being patient and figuring it out. This arm transforms the same way as this one. Again, that folds around to the back. Pull his fist out. Yeah, I find it helps to keep from pushing it back in if you rotate it just slightly when you pull it out, and that'll keep it from collapsing back into the arm like this one over here did. Flip up his head panel like this. Flip his head up like that. Now the wheels have a bit where they say rotate 90 degrees, and it's hard to see because of how this is in there, but there's a screw right here, and there's actually there's a way to see it. There's actually a little tab here on the wheel that tabs in right up here, and basically on the front part of the wheel you just kind of want to pull that down. You want to rotate it around the screw here, and you can see there's that tab. It kind of, let me see if I can get that tab. There we go. See that tab right there, and it folds up and locks the wheel in place for vehicle mode. For this mode, you want to rotate this down so it has the clearance to fold in there. Otherwise, the wheel sits too high and hits against this headpiece. So again, on this side, you just kind of, here's the screw, kind of hold the wheel steady and push on the front half of it. I guess what would be the front half of the robot mode here. And rotate so that peg comes down. And once it's down underneath there, you can slide those wheels in. This comes up. These two pegs right here on the back of the head are going to peg into these slots here on the back of the, you can see that little square slot and that little square slot in the back of the robot mode. And these should fit. With this raised up, the wheel should fit right into these slots. Let me lift this up a little bit for a little bit more clarity. Here on the upper part of the robot, maybe refocus it here. There we go. So yeah, this will come up like this. Make sure, again, that hinge you want to make sure goes down into the body. And these pegs right here are going to peg in right here on the shoulder. So lock all that together. Oh, you came unpegged. There we go. Lock all that together. Just like that. And then this bar right here folds down and forms his chest. Rotate him, we'll lift this panel up, rotate him at the waist. That brings his legs around to the front. And like I said, this arm right here is going to collapse up. And then these two pegs, you can do this. You can leave those folded in there if you don't fold those out. this will sit kind of loosely up against his body, but these pegs right here are going to peg into these slots here on either side of his back. So you bring that up, this all collapses, and then you just line it up so those pegs peg in right there on his backpack. Come on, peg in, there we go. Sometimes they will collapse on themselves. Just peg that in like that. So he does have a little bit of a high-standing backpack. But there he is in robot mode. And again, he can hold his little Gatling gun here in his fist. So you see a lot more of the blue that was prevalent on wide load before. On his original toy, as opposed to being the mostly orange of his vehicle mode. Now, in the original toy line, he was a dump truck, so he had the blue panel on the back of the dump truck. Here he's now a Humvee, and a lot of that blue is hidden inside of him. Actually, I think almost all the blue, if not all of it, is hidden inside of him outside of his gun. But yeah, and he's much larger than the others, and we'll do that size comparison here in a minute. He's got a ball-jointed neck. It is a little constrained by the helmet and the flat panel around his head, but he can look up and around. He's got the swivel there. He does have a little bit of movement from that dual hinge. He's got a joint there, as well as... Oh, he does not have an outward swivel there, aside from this hinge right here. There is a tab that you can lock these down into place if you want, but that will prevent him from... You'll have to unpeg it to give him the outward shoulder movement. He does have a bicep swivel, ratcheting elbow. He does have a wrist swivel, waist swivel. Like I said, you're seeing the legs wobble a little bit because of this joint. He's got the universal hips, which ratchet nicely in both directions. Nice ratcheting knees. And again, you've got the knee joint here, as well as a little bit of extra movement from the panel that lets them collapse into the leg. You can pull the kneecaps out a little bit if you want to have them angled out a little bit and not just flat. And then the toes and the ankles, like I said, are both on ball joints. And like I said, if you've rotated that out to the back, you get even a little bit more support and movement out of the ankle. But yeah, so up his back camera tab. Come on. Tab back together. All right. Yeah, so there he is. Now again, quick size comparison. Here he is with Orion. And you can see he's not quite, like, he's taller than Orion at the backpack. With the head, he's a little shorter at the head. His backpack makes him just a smidge taller overall than Orion. But he's got about the same mass and bulk as Orion. Get your heel down there. And with the rest of the throttle bots, here is Grind Rod, Aurora, Trace, and of course, Shinebug. And there are the 5 of the ToyWorld throttle bots that we have gotten to date. Just waiting on Expressway to make the combiner. There has not been an official name given that I'm aware of for the combiner. I know Vangelis called him my favorite, which was Throttle Kaiser 7. And I like that one. I like Throttle Kaiser. I've heard Pile Up. I think Pile Up is another great name for the combiner. But yeah, it's really up to you. I don't think they have announced a name unless they give one with Expressway. I don't know that they've given an official name to this combiner. Whether they have one internally or not, I'm not aware of it being made public. But a great little set of figures. Like I said, any one of these, the combiner is kind of, while I'm excited for Expressway to come out to put them together, the combiner really is a secondary consideration on these guys, because every single one of these guys is pretty great in his own right, especially this guy right here. Like I said, they're all really good. Shinebug is great. You guys are great. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back hopefully soon with Expressway to show off whatever you want to call the massive pile of cars that the combiner is.